going. Recording's going. Timestamp roughly 17:14. I will set this. You know what? Charlie, where would be a good spot to set this? You want to set it there?
Yeah.
All right. We'll set it
Basso.
right there.
Go this way. Perfect.
All right.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
That's why I have the chair. Just rip it, white knuckle it.
Right.
All right. So we are here at Hands of Fate with Charlie.
I'm Charlie O'Neill. I work here at Hands of Fate. I've been a psychic reader since I was about 10. I've been doing it professionally for about 15 years, and we did a reading earlier for Mr. Basso.
You want to tell us about that experience, Basso? How did it feel?
So that was actually my first ever any kind of reading. So let's walk through a little bit just for clarity. I have never met Charlie beforehand at all. Period. Knows nothing about me. I know nothing about him. So
They just became friends on Facebook like today.
yeah. So as it started, which in the other videos you see, he asked me to think about some certain things before we actually started reading. So let's go through a couple of those things, kind of step through. Like I said, you know nothing about me, and I had talked a little bit about some things with Donovan before on the drive here. So as Charlie was reading these things out, he actually hit on some points, and Donovan noticed a little bit of it too. So let's talk about the specific little detail that caught your attention, which was concrete, because as my profession is, I work with anything concrete, sidewalks, driveways, things like that, as well as putting in a storm drain system.
So what went through my mind with the first initial spread is it felt like my feet were stuck in concrete. I sometimes get feelings, sometimes it's things that pop into my head, but it made me chuckle whenever you told me what you did a little bit later on in the reading, because it's just like, that's such the weirdest thing to pop into my head.
But going off of what the reading is from my interjection as well, it could also mean the concrete being kind of stuck in place. You still wanted to go further down the ride.
And
so
the more I took it more as that's what it meant, not in terms of professional work or anything like that, but in terms of personal, because sometimes professional does have to intermingle with personal.
Yeah, because what we do for work is who we are, for the most part.
Now you had touched on a little bit, continuing on with professional and work and everything, about a lot of changes happening. So for context on that, we have gone through some management changes. We just hired a guy, he just quit. We just hired another guy, and now my associate that's a senior within the company, he's having to move back home, which is causing me to have to step up to do more and follow more into his position, which is not what I have been doing for the past year that I've been with them. Which is why
it's going to be rough.
When you were saying these things, you noticed I kept looking at Donovan. There's little bitty details.
oh yeah, he was getting clarity. It was just like, I was like, don't look at me. Look at him. He's the one reading the future, bro.
Yeah. So, span upon that, you said 6 years. Now, we're not basing anything off numerology or anything like that, but generally 6 does a lot of different meanings.
So I look at it from numerology standpoint and from a tarot standpoint. Each number, like obviously 1s are beginnings, 2s are balancing acts and partnerships. 6s are
Even.
a rest after a lot of hard work, maybe a misfortune or grueling stuff. So the 5 of Pentacles is about not having enough money. It could be about literal physical injury sometimes, but in this case, since it was with work and in your project that you're dealing with, it took you a lot of effort to get here, and it's still going to take you a lot more effort to get where you want that project to be. That Six of Pentacles is also, its literal meaning is asking for help if you need it. It's not handouts. It is asking for contributions from other people.
That's good.
So, that aside, most of the stuff that you talked about in terms of professional was damn near identical to what had been going on and what is currently going on.
Excellent.
Now, in terms of the personal, which we won't get into for the sake of brevity and things of that, there have been a lot of hiccups that me and the wife have been experiencing. She has had her own struggles, and I have been there for her to continue to support her in however I can to allow her to get through it. There's been issues, and it happens. There are issues in every single aspect of life.
Agreed.
But I will say, for the majority of those, without you not knowing anything of me, was very close as to what has happened in the past.
We decided to go this way route because I've actually known Charles for years. It's been almost 20 years, if plus.
Yeah, no, I forget what year I met you in.
Sometime in high school. But yeah, Bess has never met him before, and we're like, hey, if we're going to do a reading, it's going to be this, and we wanted to see the accuracy and all this kind of stuff. He's a professional, though, too, so absolutely. Highly recommend him.
Now, let's also touch on a little bit at the very end. You said the 6 months, to a year coming up. So a lot of that, you said that there was a secret. I'm not sure if that pertains to work or to personal.
I have no idea.
I don't know either. But I don't know what that's going to come about as. There's no telling.
Nope.
There isn't.
Within 6 months, who knows?
But, early 6 months, could be a year. I don't know. Don't know. Won't know until it gets there. But it is something definitely that's insightful. So let's circle back a little bit. You were talking about, whenever you said documenting nature and things like that. My question to that was, did you interpret it specifically as nature or
being out in nature, being in other places? The scene that popped in my head was Yosemite National Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
To kind of help you, something that I really wanted to do some years ago, which I never got to because it came to be, as a dad, as a man, it was my responsibility to take care of my family. So yes, put things on the back burner, like you had come up. One thing I had a severe interest in and wanted to go to school for was astronomy.
Okay.
Because it's the vastness and the misunderstanding and the curiosity. So when you said nature, I would like to go camping. I would like to go do these things. But you
Stars
have
are
to
also part of
spend
nature.
time outside gazing into a void.
My interpretation of that, though, if I may, knowing you and your personality, your favorite color is like forest green.
Yes.
You love foresty aspects. Most of your profile pictures, all that kind of stuff, are that of, like, I wouldn't say nature, but tangled roots, down that kind of stuff. He's definitely, that's his whole theme when it comes to kind of your personality and just your theme on your computer, what you do, your maths, all that kind of stuff. It's a personality clip, so I think that's what I was kind of picking up on.
Quite possibly. I mean, to put it this way, my favorite color is like an emerald green. It is also my birthstone. And I get this, to give it more of an explanation is, if I see certain shades of green, it does bring me calm. It's a calming aspect to me because
not
it's
bad.
my favorite color.
Green in general is a calm. It's a peaceful. Blues and greens on the color spectrum are peaceful. The reds and consider a little bit more angry. It doesn't have to be aggressive though. Red doesn't even. It could also be, as with magic.
Yeah.
Red is also courage.
Yeah, I was saying red doesn't have to be aggressive in terms of attitude, but more in terms of desire.
Oh, crimson's one of my favorite colors. So
That's
yeah.
why I said
We
it that
also have a
way.
vampire fetish, so.
Very true.
Well, no, but just knowing Donovan and how he does things. That's why I said it's not in terms of attitude, but in terms of desire.
Oh no, we were
Want.
playing Sea of Thieves the other night. I was like, oh, that looks like a Donovan weapon. That's a Donovan weapon.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
So-
mine. There it is.
So that I just wanted to touch a little bit on the readings and how we have. I think maybe months ago I maybe said 2 words to you, never beforehand, never after, or anything like that. So
I do want to ask though. So besides us, what is your process when it comes to just giving other people like you read palms as well, correct? Yes. Just your process in general. Like, how do you approach these type of situations? Do you have any rituals of your own?
Well, Sorry?
Well, it means I
Long
know we're
day.
boring.
No, not boring, just long day. My caffeine long wore out. Before tarot readings, I usually take a really deep breath and I ask my own spirit guides. I don't really give them form. I'm like, thank you, spirit guides. Allow me to see the bits and pieces and be able to interpret them properly. Allow me to be useful and to give accurate information.
Have you ever had an instance where a part of someone has stuck with you?
Yeah. Sometimes we take on, as readers, we take on too much of our client, especially if you're either an emotional empath or a psychic empath. Sometimes those bits and pieces get stuck. I always jest a little bit. If you ask the right questions, you're going to get the right answers, and sometimes I don't want to give you that right answer.
I understand. Well, how would you describe yourself? Are you clairvoyance, empath, a medium in that aspect?
I don't like doing mediumship. I'd rather work with the living. My background in psychology.
Mm-hmm.
But I can do mediumship. The type that I used to do is partial. What is the name of it? Partial possession. That's it.
Okay.
Where like the dead person possesses the medium and they come through like that. It's kind of dangerous, obviously. Dead people are exactly the same in life as they are in death. So if your uncle was a violent drunk and you want to get in touch with them, don't go to somebody who does possession mediumship.
Thank you for the warning. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. It can get weird. But I mostly do tarot, palmistry, and stuff like that. I would consider myself clairvoyant. I have just dreams where I see things that have yet to come. People come visit me in their dreams. I don't really like giving names to gifts, even though we have to have terms for them. Psychic is such a kitsch thing.
It's a niche little thing. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it's just tchotchkes here in New Orleans.
That's kind of what we're doing this too. I know you have known you for a while, and I think you're very authentic and the genuine thing. The problem with New Orleans is you get the touristy aspect
Yeah,
or the
anybody
watered
can-
down version of certain things.
Anybody can pick up a deck of tarot cards and go read on Jackson Square.
Correct.
There's no vetting process there. But I've been doing this for a long time. Yeah, psychology does play a role in it. I refuse to cold reading people because I think that's dishonest and it would be lying. And
I have to actually remember the first tarot reading you did for me was actually in a McDonald's. But that was
so
Years
many years
ago.
I think I remember that.
yeah. I was.
I also did a reading for one of my coworkers in the same place around the same time, and I said that they were gonna have car troubles, and they got in a car accident.
yes. So
I just take it as it's a gift. I can't properly explain why things work the way they do. The gist is magic is science not yet explained.
right. No, absolutely.
And so there is something that I'm tapping into. There is something that I see. Things pop into my head randomly. And some people will say that it's ADHD and pattern recognition. Some people will say you've studied psychology. You know how people work. You can read body language. But
You're an investigator of sorts.
A little bit, yes. But I mostly, with the psychology and the body language, I mostly use it to see how receptive my clients are to my advice, if they're getting uncomfortable and stuff like that, so I can back off or dig my heels into a subject and different things like that.
Which is why I try to stay as motionless as possible.
I like that.
Now,
though.
I'm
I
going
like that.
to go a little bit on the other end aspect is this. So you have a degree in psychology and all that kind of stuff. How would you interpret as in you're able to read them, so therefore you can kind of read their body language and just kind of make something up in a sense?
I could do that.
Yeah.
There are people that do that. There
Correct.
are people that study in the art of cold reading.
Right.
And I think it's stupid. But that's just my own personal take. I believe that it's
Absolutely.
greedy and dishonest, and it's taking advantage of people. It's for the same reason that I don't like it when people get addicted to tarot readings, where they get readings every single
And you're
week.
reading every week. What's going on? What are the lottery numbers? Who knows?
Yeah, and eventually with those people, I had to put a rule in place, being like, I'll only read you every other week.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it gets to the point where I feel like I'm just taking their money, and I'm like, hey, I can't do this. No, I cannot ethically do this either.
Right now.
The other thing about readings is you have to come with a little warning. I can't tell you to stay or go with somebody. I can't give you legal advice. I can't give you proper medical advice. I can tell you healthy habits that you should take up, but I can't tell you to do something for legal advice.
You mentioned that one of his vices was being
Procrastination.
but in your turn, it was actually a superpower.
Yeah. No, the reason why you say that is because I do have to procrastinate in some sense so I can de-stress.
Agreed. Procrastination
Yeah,
is not always a horrible thing.
You had said, start taking more time for myself. Actually, I've been trying, because of so much stress and everything going on, I haven't been going to the gym like I usually have been doing. So I picked that back up. I've been going more recently. I've been changing how I've been eating some more.
Excellent. When they say you are what you eat, they literally mean that.
Yes. Yes, and Donovan can attest to that. He was
And I can
he was
too.
next to me when I started it.
Mm-hmm.
Delightful.
200 pounds, and I lost 35 pounds in a month just changing how I ate.
I was up to over almost 300 pounds from working at McDonald's. It was a little roly-poly.
You're adorable.
No? Donovan, do you have any other questions?
I do not. Again, though, so this is kind of our first reading, our first interview ever. Thank you again so much. John Basso here, Charles, Donovan Underwood, and we're Dark South Paranormal Investigations. So we hope you look forward to more in the future. Like I said, this is kind of our super massive trial run. We're here at Hands of Fate, and we're in the gorgeous back room. Like, before we go, you want to kind of give us a little tour-ish? I mean...
You know what? I think the pictures will do it more justice, since they are still...
Yeah, we're definitely going to be posting all this on the our Facebook app as well.
The only portrait I dislike is that little boy.
It's the little boy in the bathroom right here? Absolutely.
I